Let's jump up and get down with training games. So training games in general are really great for engaging your audience, making learning kind of bite-sized and digestible, and getting people to interact with the training. It's active as opposed to a passive presentation like you're listening to now, right? Sorry. But it really gets your learners into that action. So Jump, one of our games, this is a screenshot from the game, is a Twitch style game where players move the little player, this little jumping guy, from platform to platform, trying to get up the platform and answer questions along the way. It's fast paced. It's great for micro learning, like I had mentioned, and it also encourages repeat play. There's one person on our demo game who I found played this jump game for an hour straight and got over a score of 1 million. I need to find this person and shake their hand and thank them for proving my point that people like to come back and play these games. But these games, a jump game in particular, is also great because you can play it in less than 5 minutes if you want to. They're super fast, really great way to kind of like, inject a little action into your learning. So for Jump, there are different question types for you to engage your learners in different ways. Good old-fashioned multiple choice, multi-select, text input, image matching, and polls, which is fun as well. So Jump is a really great game for knowledge checks. I'm going to keep saying it like a broken record. It's fast-paced, it's fun to play, and it's becoming one of my favorite games, new favorite games we have here at the game agency because of that repeat play. You interact with the same questions multiple times, and so you are forced to re-engage with the same material, repeat that answer, and just drill it into your head. And at the same time, you're having fun because you want to get back to the board and jump around and play. And you'll see what I mean exactly in a little bit when we play a game and build one. Another great thing for all of our games in the training arcade, and if you're a subscriber, you are aware of the great actionable analytics. So these are stats from that jump game. Look, here's that guy who played for over an hour, insanity. And each game has aggregate trends, the average duration on the game, accuracy. These are stats per player. I have their personal information cut off here, but these are the stats we collect on them. And you can see some of these knowledge jumps here in between the sessions down here. And this is the accuracy per question. So you can see like, hey, maybe this one's too hard, maybe this one's too easy, and adjust as needed. But all of these analytics are captured for every game we have in the training arcade. Micro learning, this is a great strength of Jump. So micro learning is a great way to engage learners in this fast-paced world of less and less attention spans. Think of bite-sized, right? And games are great for micro-learning because there are literal levels. You complete one thing, you've accomplished one thing, and then there's a natural pause in the game or the level, like Mario behind me, right? Like you play for a few minutes, you beat that level, then you can take a break, reflect, recharge, etc. And that's why games are great for that style of micro-learning because they're simple, and simple and short training points can be practiced and repeated like in our Jump game. Repeat play, like I keep saying. So we have found, we did a study, and we can put this link in the chat. I'll do so in just a moment. That 57% of players on the training arcade, this is an aggregate study, played 3 or more times the games. And there's a 58% lift in knowledge between the first and the third play. So people come back to games, people learn from games, they re-engage with them. They're great for increasing the efficacy of your training. And then just one last fun thing that I wanted to talk about with our Jump game in particular, since this is something that we created, unlike the first 2 game building webinars we had, which was Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, which is definitely well-known IP. We can't really change how it looks too much. We can change how it looks in Jump if you want to. A couple of fun examples. We've done holiday-themed ones with some snowmen here. We've got an origami-themed Jump game. And we even had a game where Seth Rogen teamed up with, I believe, Alzheimer's awareness, and we put Seth Rogen's face into a Jump game. So game customization like this just makes it more fun. for your audience, makes them want to play, makes them smile. And we believe that if you're laughing and having fun and having a good time, you remember more of your training, you're engaged with your training, and that increases the efficacy of your training. Super crash course on Jump and the benefits of it. So with all of that said, let's build a game. All righty. So first of all, when I am building a game, also, if you have been to some of the other game building webinars, this sheet may look semi-familiar to you, but I find it's helpful to write down the questions on a Word document. It's great for collaboration. It's great for editing with other people, and just also has the information just kind of in one place outside of the training arcade, and just gives you a chance to look at it, plan everything out, etc. So as you can see,
do you want to zoom in on that a little bit?
I absolutely can.
You know, for us old fogies.
Sorry there, Steph. All right, how you go? There we go. So I use this template for almost all of our games. For Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, here is the answer, or excuse me, here's the question. Here is the answer. What is in red would be the right answer. And these are the misclues or the distractor answers. And here's the feedback. The feedback, I think, is really where a lot of the learning happens, because you can back up why you asked that question and why it is correct. So having good feedback for your clues, I think, is really important regardless of what game you are playing. But so here we go. I've got these 8 questions. So once I have them, let me just zoom out a little for my own sanity. There we go. So once I have them set up in a Word doc like this, great, I can then go over to my training arcade, click on New Game, go to Jump, and let's build this game. So first of all, coffee break. Then we need to set up just some basic information for the game. And again, this page looks basically the same for every single game that we have on the training arcade, just minor differences between them. So the game name, Jump Webinar Demo, there you go. So once you add in the game name, the second I navigate away from this text input, you'll notice, voila, the URL auto-populates with the name of the game you've just created. This is, however, customizable. If you want to change the URL for whatever reason, you can do so, but it automatically populates that. Next, you'll need to pick the default language. We have 17 of them right now. And the default language, it's important to note, that does not translate your questions. What it does is translates the UI, excuse me, the UI, right? The instruction words, the tutorial, that all get translated into a different language. I'm going to click US English. Another thing you can do is add tags to the game. This is for your own organization if you want to. It's an ABCD game. This is a webinar demo game, right? So these are optional tags you can add just to help you organize. Now, these are more the specific game settings. So use a default timer for all questions. That's up to you. I like to have timing in questions. It puts a little bit of pressure on the learner to reach back and grab that information and answer it. So if you want to use a default time for all questions, you can, or you can click no, and you can set timers for individual questions if you like. Set a timer for the entire game, meaning do they have just, do they have only 300 seconds or what have you to play the entire game? I also like to keep that off because I kind of like Jump to keep going. That's another customizable feature for you. Next thing here is % of questions answered required to pass. So for fun games that I usually am building, I usually have this number at 0. We're having fun, or if it's a demo on a website or something like this, we just want people to interact and have a good time with it. Let's say, though, I was testing you on the side effects of some new pharmaceutical drug. I'd probably want you to score a little higher than a 0. So that is up to you. You can just input this here, whatever number you want for your learners to make sure that they've passed this game or test. You can also add in session limits to make sure it's a true knowledge check, or if you want to even make it sort of like a sales contest, like, hey, you've got from Monday at 1 o'clock until Tuesday at 1 o'clock to score as many points as you can in this game, and the person with the highest points wins something, right? So that's another optional and customizable feature. And if you want to do session limits, you just click on the day, the time, and you can even click down to the 5 minutes of when you want this game to be available. Randomized questions. So I do have this turned on for jump usually. So when we're jumping around the platforms, which you'll see, that just means that once you land on a question platform, it will randomly pull from all of your questions. If you say no, then they will just be presented to the user in the order that you have created them. That's something you can change after the fact if you want. Show tutorial at start, pretty self-explanatory, yes or no. I'm gonna put no on this one because I'll be showing you how to play the game. And these two buttons are at the end of the game. Your learners are presented just with a little screen to go to the leaderboard. You have another couple options to add, learn more, like here's some more information on this topic. Here is a link to the materials that we referenced here. Again, optional things that you can put in. Another optional is the information pop-up. This is something that shows up at the beginning of the game and is an informational panel to just tell your users, what are they playing? Why are they here? What's the point of this? What are the rules? Again, this is optional. Lorem ipsum, here's some text, right? And this can be whatever you want, however it's effective to engage or inform your learners. All right, then one of the last things here, you also have the option, most everything is customizable here or optional in the training arcade, for additional security. You can upload an authorized player list. And once you've done that, it becomes here, it populates here on this list. And you pick one and it goes, great, those are the only people that have access to this game. You can also incorporate single sign-on if you use that for your organization. Once you've integrated that, again, it'll come here as an option. So you would just click on that and you can integrate your SSO. Again, optional. You don't have to have that authorization, but it is available to you. Same thing with registration. So registration, if I click yes, all this information pops up. Do I want to collect names, emails, phone numbers, blah, blah, blah. I can also create custom fields, and those can be text input or drop-down menus just to collect whatever I want. If I don't require that registration, it won't ask for it. But the last thing here is the leaderboard. So I always have the leaderboard on for every game. That's one of those great gamification elements we want to capture that motivates your learners to play again, beat their friend's high score or beat so-and-so's high score, get to the top of that leaderboard. And if you say, yes, I want to show the leaderboard, and you have no turned off for registration, the only thing it will ask your learners for then is a name or initials for the leaderboard. Think of that arcade in the pizza shop when you were a kid. You got those 3 letters on top to, make your mark on history. That's what we're asking for here as well at the game agency. So once I have all that information set up, looking good, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click save. Uh-oh, this is a great thing. So if I have not added in all of the required information, it'll click red and it'll show me, hey, you forgot to fill this in. So let's click 0. Awesome. Then we'll click save again, and voila, the game has been saved. So now we're ready to start making our questions. And with jump, like I said, it's pretty easy. So right now we don't have any questions. I'm going to go up here and click add question. And voila, this should look familiar to you all if you have created trivia or Jeopardy games. It's pretty much the same exact format here. So we're going to go to my text with the questions on it. Uh-oh. And I've signed out of my Google naturally. That's good timing. Oh, for goodness sake.
We're just adding an extra level of difficulty and learning that Jake is not very secure.
Yeah, well, no, I totally forgot. I just changed my password yesterday, obviously, so that happened. Hang on one second, guys. I apologize for this. Stephanie, filibust for me real quick.
Oh, boy. Well, hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Before this call, I was telling Jake all about the home gym that my husband and I are building in our basement. It's very impressive. Drop some suggestions in the chat for workout equipment that I need in my basement.
And actually, I am secure because, like I said, I changed my password the day before.
That's true. Jake is demonstrating password best practices. A rower. Jennifer, I absolutely hate rowing. I used to do that at my gym and I hate it. Yoga mats, Cheryl, I already have like 4 of those. I have a Pilates circle, actually, Laura. I'm a big fan of it. Okay, all right.
Technology
Great.
fails
Jake's ready. We can stop. Thank you,
arrive.
everyone, for the suggestions.
Cool. A cold beverage. All right. Thank you. Thank you. It happens, right? And I appreciate you all understanding that it happens. So here we are. We're right back at it, right? Stephanie, thank you for the filibust. So back at it. So here is my first question. It's a true or false. So I'm going to go to my game. Actually, if I do this, can you both see? Can everybody see both sides of this? Or no, it's just showing one tab. My apologies. All right. So we're going to go back to the game. I have copied my question. I'm going to paste it in. True or false? Customer success is the same as customer support. And my answers are either going to be true or false. I'm not going to randomize them. If you randomize the answers, that's different from the questions. That just means it'll pop them back and forth. It doesn't really matter here in this instance. It's actually false, excuse me. And then I'm going to go back here, double click on my feedback, and paste that in. Voila, I just did my first question. That's how easy it really is to make a question and jump. So there's a couple other things you can do if you want to. You can add in an image to just kind of give some flavor or help out your learner, like, hey, look at this image and answer a question. You can add an MP3 audio, or you can add a video if you want to. I personally, for Jump, like them to move along. I like the clues to be as fast-paced as we can, get back to the action. However, of course, video and audio and image materials can be very helpful for engaging those learners. So since this is a type of game where I have to add individual questions, I can save the game, and this game is playable now. So I'm going to click save just to kind of also save my work. And this game is playable. Obviously, it's not going to take all that long or be that engaging because it's only one question, but it will work. Let's add a few more, however. So let's add another question, go back here, and I have a multiple choice question. So we're going to copy, paste again, copy my answers, and this is what I do. I usually copy all of them, put them into one row. And now, since there are 4 answers, I'm going to add a couple of them here. You can have up to 5 answers in a jump game. We've got 4. So then I just take these here, cut and paste them. Again, 6 or half a dozen, whichever way is easier for you. Double check what the right answer was. It is 90. Click on that. Double click my feedback. Throw that in. And we just did another clue. How easy is this? I really do love this. So let's do, can you tell I was raised in the days before autosave? I clicked that save button way too many times in a day. All right.
We do have a relevant question, I think, while you're showing this. Is it possible to bulk upload questions via a spreadsheet?
Aha. So as of right now, no, it is not. You cannot do that. That is a function, I believe, that is being worked on, but not at this moment. No.
Okay.
Great question, though. And I will let the devs know that that was brought up again. I do know that they're working on that. Okay, great. So we've done a couple multiple choice questions. So let me show you a text input question. Yeah. So under question type, we've got multiple choice, select, image match, and text input. So I'm going to click text input, paste my text, and now I need to type in my answer. And it is customer service. Now, when creating text input questions, there's definitely some room for interpretation, right, in what people actually type in. So you'll notice that the default first answer here is the exact answer. Like, what exactly are you looking for? And it is customer service. That is the correct right answer. If I wanted to put in another exact answer, the act of customer service voila. If someone types in exactly that, they are also correct. But that becomes a little, stagnant, right? So we do have a feature where you can, and I use this heavily, contains. So if someone types in an answer that is, I think the answer is customer service, they're right, because they typed in customer service. They hit the main point that we're trying to get them to do. Great. If you want to be merciful, you can add you could just have them say customer, like it just contains customer. Great, that'll mark it as a correct answer. A couple other options. Now, I genuinely think these last three here are more for pharmaceutical training, with some like really complicated, medication names that I've been told by pharmaceutical trainers are totally made up. They're not real words. So if I wanted to say starts with CUS, so someone just types in CUS and then ABCDAFG or whatever, that would also accept it as a correct answer. I don't normally do that, but you do have these options to just like really be lenient or strict with your learners when doing text input answers. Okay, and then we take our feedback, pop that in, great. And then the last question type I want to show you is a multi-select, which is right here. As you can see, I just kind of have 4 correct answers for this one. One more time. Copy and paste the text. Copy all this stuff in here. Oops. And notice we had it as text input, so I want to change it to multi-select. And notice that will not clear your question or anything, so that's nice. Paste that in there. Good communication, emotional intelligence, passion, and resourcefulness. These are all qualities we want to have in our customer service reps. So they are all correct. Voila. Take my feedback, dump that in there, and that's that. So that is really how easy it is to build a jump game. Now we're going to do a little cooking show magic, which is one of my favorite things to do. And oh my God, look at this. The game's been fully built out after an hour in the oven. This is exactly how your game should look. And let's play some of it so you can see what your learners are looking at. So for any of the games in the training arcade, when you're testing them, just click this button here, play game. Great. So blast off with customer service. Here we go. Click the start button. And here is that informational screen that I was talking about. So if we go back to the back end here and go to game info, scroll down a bit, voila. Here is what I have written, and here's what it looks like in the game to the learner. Great. So if there was a tutorial and I click OK, it would show here now and show the learners what's happening. But I don't need that because I'm going to show you how to play. Here's the registration information. Just to show you one more time. See, name, last name, email, and company. Submit that. We do have the tutorial on, my apologies. Great. And here we go. So the game's going to start. So you play this game by using the directional pad on your keyboard. If you're on mobile, you simply move it with your finger to the pad you want to go to, but I'm on my desktop right now. So you'll also notice that the guy's just jumping here. He's just hanging out. He's going to sit here until we jump him to the first platform and start the game. So these platforms here are just the blank or the regular ones that just move your player up. These ones with a little rocket on it, they boost you up really far up the board. And then there are ones with little question marks on them. There are questions. As we move farther up the board, there will be some ghost ones. There'll be ones that kind of fall apart as we land on them, little Mario-esque, and we will get there shortly. So if I move my pad to the left or the right, you can see this guy's moving here, and away we go. All right, we just blasted off. I'm gonna try and get one of these questions. Voila. So now the game stops, quote, when I answer a question or land on one of these question things. So how do most people prefer to communicate with customer service professionals? The answer is texting. Great. And then here is that feedback that we added in. Great. I just answered that question, read through the feedback, and we're going to blast off again. And you get another life and you blast higher up the board if you answer things correctly. Here's that true or false question. True or false, it's the same as customer support. It's false. Great. Blast off again. Now, see, we're starting to get, look at that one just fell apart. So it's funny because it's kind of hard to explain this at the same time as I'm playing it because it is so fast paced and I have to focus and engage on it. So I really do love this game. I find myself sitting here just kind of playing it because it's a good brain break for me, gets me thinking in a different manner. There you are. There's our feedback. We're going to blast off again. And see, that one just fell apart. That was a ghost one. If I fall off the board like that, I lose one of my lives. And there we go. We're at another question type. So blank is the act of, I'm going to type in customer service. Great, we did it. And blast off again. So that is playing a jump game. So as you can see, it's really kind of back and forth using different parts of your brain, and you engage with the same questions frequently. So kind of by the end, say you're playing this for 10, 15 minutes and interacting with the same 8 questions, this becomes a little bit of muscle memory. Like you start to know, oh, it's these 2. Oh, that's the answer for that. And it just is that repetition drills into your brain and you really start to internalize the information that you are being presented. There we go. Got it right. So that is how we play and build a jump game. Yeah. Okie dokie. So I would love to answer any questions you all may have. Again, this was one of our faster game building webinars because, again, it's so easy to build these games. So I love playing these. I hope you will start to incorporate some of these jump games in because I'm really falling in love with how effective they can be. Thank you. Questions?
All right, Jake, we do have a few questions. So earlier you showed us the little guy with the backpack and like a snowman. Mm-hmm. Can you create your own avatar entirely, or are there ones that you select from?
So you select from avatars. You do not have the ability right now to create your own avatar, but for, if you wanted to create a special skin like that Seth Rogen one, our dev team can do that for you for a slightly added cost, but it is possible to reskin and customize these games. And, I really do think it makes a difference. Because like, say I'm playing a jump game and it's like internal training for the game agency. And if I saw the CEO's face on the little jump guy, right, like it would just make me laugh. And look, Stephanie's smiling, right? Like you just automatically start, you're smiling, you're laughing, you're having a good time. Wow, that's silly. And you're automatically in a better headspace to like internalize and do that training.
Yeah. All right. So yes and no, depending on how much you want to pay. But there are a few to choose from if you don't want to pay extra for that custom skinning. So the last 2 games that you showed us in these workshops, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, have or are going to have instructor-led options. Is Jump Game only single player, or does it, I don't know how I would instruct someone on jumping.
Yes, it is only a single player game. Great question. I always forget to mention that. So Trivia and Jeopardy are the only instructor-led games that we currently have. We are working on Wheel of Fortune, but no, Jump is very much a single-player game. That said, you could kind of use this in a asynchronous, synchronous manner, right? So say we're having an hour-long Zoom call and it's halfway through and, oh my God, I'm zonking out. I'm not paying attention anymore. You could drop in a quick 3-minute, hey guys, wake up. Here's a quick Zoom jump game that's going to take you 3 minutes. It's 4 questions on the last half an hour of stuff we just did, right? And so you pop that into the meeting link. Like if I did this, like that, that's the game we just played. And so we can all sit here in Zoom land and talk to each other. And I can click on that URL, open the game, play the game kind of in an asynchronous manner together, if that makes sense. This is how we do the instructor-led mode at the same time, where we have a Zoom room open, we all chat, commiserate, talk some smack and competition to each other, and we all, play together in a separate window.
Yeah, so you could kind of make that work. Earlier, you were saying when you were looking at our data, there was one person who played the game for an hour straight. Yeah. We have a question kind of about that. Is there a specific time when the game ends, like when you've answered all the questions, or does it just end when you exit? So like you could play for 15 minutes, you could play for an hour.
Great question. So you can set a time limit on the game. You as the trainer have that ability to go, it's on the main page here, set a timer for the entire game. If I click yes, then I can say default is 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes, right? So you have 5 minutes to just play this game. I don't have a time limit set on that game that's in the demo. So like I said, I got to find this guy and shake his hand, because to play that for an hour straight, get over 1 million points, that is a feat, my friend. That is crazy. But yeah, so that is up to you as the trainer if you want to make that unending or not.
All right. And then how does the scoring work? Julie would like to see the leaderboard. Do you have one that you could show us?
So actually, so this leaderboard right now, oh, I exited out of it. Actually, hang on 1 second. So we have some data for folks, so I can't show you the exact back end of some of that data. Give me 1 second.
Got to keep everybody's privacy safe.
But let me just fail here. Also, scoring is how high you get up the board.
That's why my score is always so low, because I always fall off immediately.
So you gain points by just going up and up and up and up and up. And I finally found out what happens when you reach the top. And I'm not going to tell you. You got to find out yourself what happens when you reach the top.
That's an experience I'll never have.
Yeah. So let me show you super quick. I do have a leaderboard I can show you that is that's good. So here you go. Here is the leaderboard. So this is one, like, I literally started the game and just, kind of fell until I ran out of lives. So I am at place 232 on the leaderboard. And here is our winner. Oh, it's over 2 million. My goodness. But here is that leaderboard, right? So there's just A, right? There's I, there's people putting in those arcade names. But you don't have to show the leaderboard to your users after the game. But like I said, I like to. It's one of those gamification elements that I think is really important. So.
And then can you confirm the jump game has to be played in a browser, right?
Correct, yes.
But you can play it on your phone or your computer as long as you have internet access.
Exactly. All of the Training Arcade games just need web access. It's not an app. It's not a plugin. There's no need for anybody to download anything. That link that I put in the chat is the best way to share, or the easiest, let's say, way to share out the game. You just click on that and boom, you're off to the races. All of our games can be SCORM wrapped. They can all be integrated with an LMS. There's 1,000,001 ways to quickly and easily share out all of these games to any of your learners. I see Christopher's question here: to display leaderboard on separate screen. So like booth with 2 screens. Oh, no, I don't think so. It all just kind of displays on, once you've played that game and once your session is done, it all just kind of lives on that same screen there. But good question. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think that we've answered all of the questions.
Cool.
If anyone else has any more, this is your moment. Submit them before we let Jake escape until next month when he teaches us a new game.
Get back to playing some Mario here or whatever.
Oh, but I do want to share a link to the Training Arcade website, because we do offer a free trial. So if you wanted to test out building these games, see how they would look with your content, your own images in the questions, this is Training Arcade website. You can sign up for a free trial there. Do you have to pay more for the arcade subscription? So Jake, do you want to explain really briefly what arcades is compared to the Training Arcade? Because they are 2 different things.
Yes. So the answer, Sarah, is yes. Arcades is a separate thing from the Training Arcade. So the Training Arcade is our game building tool, what you just saw me build in. And that's our suite of 10 different games where you can build all of these games, as many games as you want. And arcades is a kind of gamified destination, right? Think of it literally as the arcade you went to as a kid. Like, you build all these separate games elsewhere, and then you go to the arcade to play a bunch of different games. And that's where we rope in all of these great gamification things. There's the games, there's leaderboards, there are missions for your learners. You can spin wheels, there are prizes. It's really a ton of fun and a kind of one-stop shop for your gamified learning. But You don't have to have arcades to have the training arcade, but you need the training arcade for arcades. If you go to that link that Stephanie just shared out, you can have a quick demo with one of our gaming experts, and they can really walk you through the back end. Then, like you said, you get a 2-week free trial to just start playing games and gamifying your training. I see Helen had a question. Is there a limited number of questions? No, there isn't. You can have as many questions as you want. Simple as that.
And then Christopher did want a bit more information about the SCORM wrapper. So that is, you only need that if you want to use it with your LMS, right? You could use the training arcade without an LMS, and you would get the data in the training arcade's backend.
That is correct, yes.
But if you want to use it with your LMS and incorporate it into like an existing training curriculum, then you would do the SCORM version.
Correct, yes.
Hopefully that answered your question, Christopher. If not, ask us more things. And Jen wants us to remind everyone that if you have a training arcade subscription, you can build as many games as you want. Yeah. Games every day. Games for every subject. Games for your meetings. Games for every department. You know, just games all the time.
Games. Cool.
I don't know the answer to Cheryl's question. That would be a great question to ask one of our sales team and not me and Jake.
Yes, great. That would be an answer for our sales team, Cheryl, or a question. And then I see, sorry, I'm beating you to the punch.
Yeah, do you want to do the one about the leaderboard and the LMS?
Yeah, okay, Olu. Would the leaderboard still show up for all employees to see where? Yes, so the game kind of lives its own little, like, you know, separate thing here in your LMS. So if you have the game sitting here, you play through the game, and then if you have the leaderboard turned on, once the players play through the game and they're over with it, boom, that leaderboard pops up in the game, which exists, you know, inside your LMS. So yes, in short.
All right, I think those are really all the questions this time. Thank you so much, Jake, for showing us how to build that game. It was really helpful. This recording will be emailed out to everyone. So if you want to share it with other people in your department, your boss, tell them how much you desperately need the jump game, you know, etc. And then as we said, you can go to the Training Arcade website, get a demo and a free trial, and try this out for yourself. Until then, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We hope to see you on another webinar soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are.